Hello, welcome back to sessions on Pila globosa. This presentation we will be looking into the morphological features, especially the shell of Pila. Pila globosa, Pila it is commonly referred as the apple snail or the pond snail. It is an amphibious mollusk that inhabit muddy freshwater bodies such as lakes, ponds, marshes, rice fields. You may find it frequently along the bunds of the rice fields and all. Even the sides of the irrigating canals. You may find it plenty when there is water. Uh, it may inhabit streams or rivers very like rarely, and usually it prefers clean water, that is running waters and all, having succulent plants. Upon these succulent plants, they feed on. They feed on. Pila globosa, being an amphibious animal, it can live on water, in water as well as on land. And to suit this particular habit, they are provided with gills for aquatic respiration and pulmonary sac or the lung for aerial respiration. So when the freshwater bodies usually dry up during summer, it the pila it burrows into the soil and spend the what you call drier period in a very latent state or the dormant state inside the soil. Okay, and thus it usually like tides over these drier conditions, environmental conditions in this way, and this kind of vertical behavior, it is known as the estivation or the summer sleep, which is usually followed by many animals to tide over the drier summer periods. Okay, and when there is a favorable season like rainy season like back, you can see that these comes out of the into the onto the surface soil, and they resume the normal activities, right? Now, speaking of the pila, as we have already seen, it is a gastropod which is provided with a univalved shell. That is, there is no what you call single valve is actually providing a protective covering on to the pila. More than that, it is also, you can see that there is the shell also exhibit twisting or the coiling, shell coiling. And here the body of the pila is enclosed and it is protected by a hard calcareous shell. And the shell is, as already mentioned, it is what you call univalved. Okay, sorry, univalved. Then it is conical in shape. You can see it is conical in shape, and it is aseptate in the sense there is no septa. Septa in the sense no partition or no valve. Okay, so internally it doesn't have any partitions. Okay, it is a single chamber inside. You can see here this is the cut open, the shell is cut open to view the uh, what is inside. Okay, so here this is how it is. So it is not divided into chambers, so it is known as an aseptate. Okay, it is univalve, as already mentioned. It has only a single piece, and it is unilocular. That means it has only a single internal chamber. As already mentioned, that it is aseptate, isn't it? So there is no septa, so there is no chamber. So it is aseptate and it is unilocular. Okay, and you can see here it is spirally coiled. Okay, so you can see it is spirally coiled, and this spiral coiling, it is of dextral type. Okay, there are two types of shell coiling you can see in the case of gastropods. One is dextral and the other is sinistral, based upon in which way it is coiled, clockwise or anti-clockwise. Okay, so the right-handed helix or the left-handed coiling, that is it. So here this is a right-handed coiling, that is dextral coiling can be seen in the case of pila. The it is twisted spirally, it is dextral, and it is coiled around a central axis. The central axis is what is known as a columella. Okay, and this central axis, it is hollow inside, and this hollow columella, it opens out to the exterior by a small opening, and this opening is known as what is known as a umbilicus. Okay, in the case of mollusca, in the case of gastropods, we can find two kinds of organisms, two kinds of shelled mollusks, where in some the shells will have umbilicus, and in the second group they don't have umbilicus. So in those with umbilicus, we call them as umbilicated shells, or we call it as a perforated shells. On the other hand, it is the non-perforated or the umbilicated shells in the other group. Okay, so here Pila, it is umbilicated shell possessing animal. Okay, now the you can see here, coming back to the first one, yeah. So here this is the apex. Okay, the apex, it is very small part. It is the usually almost like a rounded top of the shell, and this apex of the shell, it represents the first formed part of the shell. Okay, first form, that is, it can be considered as the oldest part of the shell, and it is otherwise referred as proto-conch. Okay, conch, that is a the shell is referred as a conch, and it is the first formed, and hence it is named as proto-conch. Okay, it is the apex of the shell. Fine, and apex is followed by, you can see, several revolutions, you can see, and these are referred as the whorls. Okay, these are known as the whorls, right? And you can see one thing is that from the apex towards the other end, the size of the whorl progressively increases, right? The first formed is the smallest one, while the other extreme will have the largest one. Okay, the largest one will be the youngest among the whole whorls. Okay, the last whorl, it is referred as a body whorl. Here you can see it is a body whorl, right? And you can see just before that you will find the penultimate whorl. The actual body of the organism, the major portion of the body, it is occupied within the penultimate whorl and the body whorl. Okay, and the region, except for the body whorl, the shell, uh, the whole series of whorls of the shell, it is referred as a spire. Okay, except for the body whorl, right? The rest of the complete part, it is referred as the spire, spire. Right, now, another important feature you can see is that these whorls, it is like demarcated by, you can see, very unique, it is demarcated by deep grooves, and these grooves are known as sutures. And the surface of the shell, they are marked by vertical lines. Here you can see, sorry, yeah, vertical lines, it is visible on the shell, right? These vertical lines are known as the lines of growth, these lines. And the what you call very prominent ones over here, you can see prominent ridges, it is marked, right? These are known as varices. Okay, and the varices, it represents the number of estivation the pila has undergone. Okay, so this is about the general features of the shell. So you have the apex, you have the spire. The spire consists of different layers of whorls. Then you have the youngest part of the shell, it is known as the body whorl. The body whorl and the penultimate whorl actually, what you call, cases inside the major portion of the body. Now, coming to the other part, right? The body whorl, it opens to outside by a wide aperture. It is known as the shell mouth, and the margin of the shell mouth, it is known as the peristome. Okay, it is known as the peristome, and the peristome, it is provided with an outer rim, which is known as the outer lip, and the inner rim, which is known as the columnar lip. Okay, the shell mouth, it is usually covered by, you can see here, this is not the shell mouth, it is actually the covering of the shell mouth. Okay, and this lid, it is flat and it is hard, it is known as the operculum. Okay, it is known as the operculum. This is the structure of the operculum, right? You can see here the operculum, it is formed of chitinous material, and it is hardened by calcareous deposits, and it is secreted by the gland cells of the foot. Actually, the operculum, it is attached dorsally to the foot, and these operculum, it is secreted by the gland cells of the foot, right? The flat surface, this is the flat surface, you can see here, this is a flat surface which is found out, which is visible outside. And this flat surface of the operculum, you can see here, it bears numerous concentric rings, right? And these concentric rings are known as the lines of growth. And you can see this is usually like lines of growth, it is found concentrically surrounding a central region, it is known as the nucleus. Okay, the nucleus, it is slightly shifted towards a side, it is known as a nucleus. And on the inner surface, this is the outer view. On the inner surface, you can see this is the inner view. You can see the operculum. It is provided with an elliptical area, and this part is known as the boss of the operculum. And this boss, it is surrounded by a shallow groove. And the operculum, what is its function? It usually closes the shell mouth. Okay, it closes the shell mouth, and the what you call there are opercular muscles which is attached to the boss of the what you call operculum from the inside, and this actually regulates the opening and closing of the operculum. Okay, now when you speak about the structure, you can see that the shell, it is formed of three layers, right? The outermost layer is a periostracum, then we have the ostracum, then the nacreous layer, which is in contact with the mantle, right? The shell, it is mainly the chemically, if you see, it is mainly formed of conchiolin and calcium carbonate. The conchiolin, it is a chitin like organic substance. Calcium carbonate, obviously, it is calcareous in nature. And the shell, as already mentioned, periostracum forms the outermost layer. It is thin and it is formed of conchiolin. Okay, ostracum, it is a middle layer. You can see it is thicker than the periostracum, and this layer, it is formed of longitudinally arranged calcium carbonate plates, and it is formed of crystals or prisms of calcium carbonate. And each of these calcium carbonate plate, it is surrounded by a thin layer of conchiolin. So basically we can say that ostracum is formed of both calcium carbonate as well as conchiolin, right? The ostracum is otherwise referred as prismatic layer. Okay, it is also known as prismatic layer. Coming to the innermost layer, it is the nacreous layer or hypostracum. It is actually formed of horizontally and alternately arranged plates of calcium carbonate and conchiolin. Okay, so it is actually formed of alternately placed uh, plates of what you call the conchiolin and the calcium carbonate. Okay, so this actually is in contact with the mantle. So mantle, it is the mantle secretes the whole thing, and it is in the innermost layer is in contact with the mantle. Okay, so this is about the structure of the shell. So we saw the external structure of the shell of Pila, and then we also saw how the chemically how it is formed. If you take a section, this is how it will be looking like. Okay, so this is about the shell morphology, the structure of the shell. Fine, thank you.